Greetings, especially to young people who might find this world confusing, full of contradictions, and perhaps even selfish and destructive. So, I would like to start by saying that we need to understand a few basic principles and learn to tell the difference. For example, need versus greed. The world has enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. Live simply so that others may simply live. These are two famous sayings by Mahatma Gandhi, who perhaps foresaw the excesses of industrial consumerist society. The world has enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. What does this mean? We all have basic needs: food, water, clothes to wear, affordable housing, a place to call home, dignified work, education, recreation, mobility, the ability to get around, the right to express ourselves, some political rights. But some people want more than that. Greedy people can never be satisfied. They want to acquire, accumulate, accrue material things, money, possessions, property. And if people who are clever, skillful, lucky, or perhaps rich to begin with, if they are greedy and they are also functioning within a corrupt system, they can do a lot of harm to others and to the environment. Everyone has needs at some level, but not everyone is greedy. I believe that most humans are good. Yet it takes only a few greedy people to take away people's homes, people's livelihood, clean air, clean water. At the instigation of unethical businessmen, a few unprincipled politicians can sign away large tracts of forests, hectares of seabed, state financial reserves, and even the future of our country. Pleasure versus happiness. Pleasure is when you eat something you like, when you indulge yourself. It is the reason why you enjoy or become addicted to sweet things, gaming, alcohol, drugs. The pursuit of pleasure versus the pursuit of happiness. There is nothing wrong with pleasure in itself, but if you constantly have to seek the food, the substance, the activity which gives you pleasure, and if you feel deprivation, withdrawal, unhappiness, without it, you are on your way to addiction. Pleasure is fleeting, whereas happiness is more stable and long-term. Happiness is having good relationships with other people, with your work, with your environment. People with a sweet tooth will binge on sugary food because it gives them pleasure. Shopaholics will shop till they drop because it gives them pleasure. Now, businesses take advantage of our desires and weaknesses by bombarding us with advertisements. People who give in after being repeatedly bombarded shouldn't feel guilty because it's not really their fault. They think they are rewarding themselves, but in some cases, they could actually be punishing or harming themselves in the long run. They are victims of a system which allows corporations to target people, even children, with advertising. Let's shame the perpetrators, not blame the victims. But we also have to realize that pleasure is not happiness. An addiction to pleasure is often an escape from unhappiness. The pursuit of prosperity versus the pursuit of meaning. While people who live to pursue pleasure might be seen as selfish, and people who have an addiction might be seen as sick, we generally accept that everyone wants to be happy. There is nothing wrong with it. We are almost all, without exception, creatures of comfort and convenience. We all pursue happiness in some form or another. Practically everyone wants to have a successful career, a good romantic partnership or marriage, family, the chance to travel and tick off our bucket list, long-term prosperity. Some people can be personally happy when they achieve prosperity, even though the neighbors are poor, the environment is polluted, and the system is corrupt. So long as they, their family, and their friends are fine. But some people are not satisfied with achieving prosperity. There are people who live not to pursue personal happiness, but to pursue meaning, or rather, knowledge and self-knowledge. Knowledge and meaning, because knowledge includes self-knowledge and confidence in knowing how to behave autonomously and interdependently. They might be asking questions like, why am I put here on this earth? What is the purpose of my life? How can I help people? How can I solve humanity's problems? If you are one of those people searching for meaning, you might not even be happy. But you are likely to have a lot of empathy for people out there. You're not happy because there's a lot of suffering out there. You are on a journey. You might wonder now and then, what is better, to give or to receive? By giving, I mean responding to need. Giving something material to someone who needs it more, or giving up something significant in your life. It could also mean sharing your time, your talents, and your effort, or simply volunteering. What if your community practiced a culture where people who have met their basic needs take pride in giving and sharing, where accumulation is frowned upon instead of being rewarded, where instead of pursuing individual prosperity, people were free to pursue collective happiness and real meaning. Bogal. In my language, Gao means smart and Bogal means not smart. When we think we are so smart, but in the end we found that we lost the plot, someone will say Bogal. That means not so smart after all. It is the year 2020, and we have a pandemic which has upended our world. We have been producing and consuming, transforming the landscape and polluting in an unprecedented and unconscionable manner. A few years ago, we were told that human beings, just 0.01% of all life, has destroyed 83% of wild mammals. Human and livestock account for 96% of all mammal biomass, leaving wild mammals at only 4%. This year, we are told that man-made mass already outweighs natural biomass on this planet. With all our human ingenuity, technology, and political, economic systems, and sophisticated thinking, we have been striving for progress. In doing so, we have cumulatively worked to produce climate havoc. We are the cause of mass species extinctions. Individuals each trying to solve their own problems, needs, and wants, seeking their own pleasures, pursuing their own prosperity, have wittingly or unwittingly contributed to the situation we are today. Bogal. How can we say to the younger generation and the children yet unborn that our happiness, our pleasure and prosperity, that our comfort and our convenience is more important than your future? Not everyone is responsible for the dystopia we are in today. A minority is deeply responsible, yes. And the majority has just tagged along because they don't think they have a choice. At the brink of the extinction of many species and the fading out of life on Earth, of normalcy as we know it, we need to deeply rethink what is the difference between need and greed. What is the difference between the pursuit of prosperity and the pursuit of meaning? Do we realize that our way of life, our comfort and convenience might be causing harm and inflicting pain somewhere else, miles away? Have we tried to connect the dots? Have we tried to make out the big picture? And once we see the big picture, do we make a choice? Would we rather stand with those people who seduce in order to sell? Or will we join with people who empower others with knowledge? Would we rather join with those who displace people, families, for empty real estate? Or those who want to build real homes? Would we rather join the industries that put poison in our food, destroy ecosystems, and pollute the earth? Or with those who work to produce real food, protect nature, and help nature regenerate? The smart people, the leaders of our civilizational project, the leaders of our political economy, they have lost the plot. Will we, in our search for meaning and with our instinct for species survival, help to turn this ship around? Should we continue with a civilization that does not fulfill basic needs of a large part of humanity, but instead rewards the greed of a few? Or will we transition to a collective pursuit of happiness, supported by a normative culture of sharing and giving? We are stronger together. How can we imagine a different world? How can we live simply, know ourselves better, and in understanding ourselves, learn to live righteously and not to destroy the earth, which is our only home? And if you have any questions, please reach out. Don't keep your problems to yourself. If you're in a search for meaning, if you're on a journey, you need to find someone else who is on the same journey or the same search. If you think you want to do something beyond yourself, don't just keep it to yourself. Reach out to someone who knows what they're doing and join hands with other people who are trying to make things better and to find solutions and to turn this ship around.